This is Valley News Live at 5.
Good evening, everyone. We begin tonight with breaking news out of Grand Forks. Police there say they're dealing with a possible barricaded suspect. They're asking you to stay away from the area of the 200 block of North 6th Street. We have a crew on the way and we'll provide you with updates as we learn more. It's no secret your car probably hates the sub-zero temperatures just as much as you do. Hundreds of cars are having trouble getting up and running right now, leaving drivers stranded and in need of a jump. We got a call to our whistleblower hotline about information circulating online that claims jumper cables can cause major damage to newer cars. Valley News Team's JC Dodd found out the truth.
This week has called for several reminders about keeping winter survival kits in your car. But articles on the web have Don Hurley
hesitant to help someone else.
An important tool to keep in survival kits.
Jumper cables.
But there are stories of computer systems in new cars being fried from bad jump starts.
I'm half afraid that if I saw somebody standing out in the cold with jumper cables, I'd be afraid to jump them.
We took Hurley's questions to an expert mechanic who says the answer isn't a simple one.
To some degree, there is a valid point to that. Rather than not jump starting a vehicle at all, I might focus more so on correct jump starting.
Following the car's owner manual step by step. Jumping a car varies by make and model.
Making sure that you're putting the correct cables on the correct locations, red on red, black on black.
I realize you have to hook it up correctly, positive, positive, negative, negative.
While it's not a common occurrence, Newman says they see 5 to 10 cars each winter with jump start damage.
They jump started the vehicle backwards. They put the red on the black and the black on the red.
In Fargo, JC Dodd, Valley News Live.
Another reminder when it comes to dead batteries in the winter, Newman says trying to jump a battery that's frozen or swollen is extremely dangerous. He advises calling a tow truck instead. Summer joins us now with a first look at how long these dangerous temperatures will be sticking around. Summer?
Thank you so much, Stacy, and good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday, a very cold Wednesday for a first alert weather day. Look at just how cold temperatures fell this morning. It was 22 below in Carrington, Detroit Lakes, in Gwinner, 27 below in Thief River Falls. In Fargo, we are 26 below, 30 below in Monoman. Look at that, Hallock and Cavalier, both 33 degrees below zero this morning. Well, that 26 below here in Fargo does break a record. Back in 1990, we fell to 22 degrees below zero. Those are for records that date back to 1891. But somewhere in the Fargo region, somebody measured 36 degrees below zero on December 29th, 1887. So just a couple of years before that official record keeping began. And we are still cold this evening. Sub-zero, 7 below in Fargo, 6 below in Grand Forks, Bemidji, Fergus Falls, 15 below in Devil's Lake, 10 below in Jamestown. Looking at wind chill, though, we still have some areas in the 30s and 40s below zero. It feels like 35 below right now in Devil's Lake, 43 below in Langdon, feeling like 20 below in both Fargo and Grand Forks. Much of the region is cloudy. We even have a few flurries in portions of the Southern Valley. Very, very light, not adding to our accumulation. But notice we're starting to see some clearing up into the Devil's Lake Basin, points off to the northwest. That is where we are going to be the coldest tonight. Temperatures tonight in Fargo after that sunset at 4:47 will continue to dip and dip and dip back into the teens below zero overnight, even with a fairly cloudy sky. And temperatures, or wind chills rather, by tomorrow morning are going to be bitter as well. We are going to have that Arctic air, the purples and the blacks, continually pushing into our region day after day for several more days. So Stacy, coming up in your 7-day forecast, I'll let you know just how many first alert weather days we have, what morning is going to be the coldest, and when we have our next chance of some snow.
A lot to look forward to. Thanks, Summer. Make sure you have that Valley News Live Storm Team weather app so you can keep up with the weather anytime, anywhere. You'll get the latest forecast and conditions so you can plan your day. Just search VNL Weather in the App Store and download it for free. We have an update on the 2 train crashes in Grand Forks County yesterday. First, we know the name of the delivery van driver who was hit by one of the trains. 42-year-old Travis Forsberg of Thief River Falls was driving over the tracks at an intersection of North Washington Street. He wasn't wearing a seatbelt and suffered serious injuries. Meanwhile, another train crash, this one in Northwood, left a man charged with failing to stop and driving under suspension. Jacob Peterson suffered minor injuries. North Dakota Highway Patrol is encouraging everyone to be aware of trains and rail crossings, saying they haven't determined why both drivers didn't yield to train markings. If you're out and about tonight, be careful. The snow is continuing to make the roads troublesome for drivers. Around 9 this morning, a semi flipped along I-94 just under the 8th Street overpass in Moorhead. Meanwhile, an 18-wheeler got stuck trying to make a turn on 30th Avenue South in Moorhead. It appears the semi couldn't make the turn because a large amount of snow was piled up on the road. 2 Minnesota men died in an avalanche in the mountains north of Yellowstone National Park. Park County officials say a group of 8 snowmobilers was riding north of Cook City on Monday when one of the men got stuck on a slope and another man was trying to help dig him out. That's when the avalanche happened, burying both riders.
This is a fairly typical setup for us. We get snow, some of it gets weaker, we get more snow, and that loading and stressing of the snowpack is what causes avalanches.
The group used their rescue equipment and were able to find the men, but they weren't able to revive them. The victims are identified as 43-year-old Jesse Thielen of Paynesville and 40-year-old Carl Thielen of St. Martin, Minnesota. Snowmobile enthusiasts will have to wait a few more days until the Clay County Trailblazers can get the trails properly groomed for the season. The trail coordinator says the recent storm has caused major delays to the grooming process. He says their equipment is too heavy for the deep snow and they switched to packing the snow after their equipment kept getting stuck. Yesterday, the club spent more than 3 hours to get 11 miles of trail groomed. That's about twice as long as it usually takes. The club hopes to be back grooming the trails by early January. Heating prices are higher now than they've been in years. The price of residential propane in North Dakota costs more than $2 per gallon, which is significantly higher than the average. People in the industry say if the current spell of cold weather continues, they might rise even higher.
If the price goes up and you're low income, it's going to affect you. Just like everything else has gone up. Everything's being affected with the prices right now. It would definitely impact people, and it doesn't matter if you're poor or you're working class, it's going to affect everybody.
Experts say an extended cold spell would cause the prices to go up because of simple rules of supply and demand. They also say the best solution for people to help conserve heat is to keep your doors and windows closed and keep your thermostat below 70 degrees. Americans will have one less healthcare headache in 2022 thanks to the No Surprises Act. It bans most unexpected medical charges from out-of-network providers, and it's scheduled to go into effect on Saturday. The new law protects patients when they receive emergency care or scheduled treatment from doctors and hospitals that are not in their insurance networks and that they didn't choose. The United States has reached a grim milestone. An NBC News tally confirms more than 53 million COVID cases in the U.S. since the start of the pandemic. So far, more than 823,000 Americans have died from COVID in North Dakota. The number of people who died from COVID reached 2,000. In Minnesota, there have been more than 10,000 deaths. The Minnesota Department of Health says the total number of positive cases has surpassed 1 million. The FDA is warning that rapid antigen tests may be less capable of detecting the Omicron variant. The agency said the results of a study showed the rapid tests do detect the Omicron variant, but may have reduced sensitivity, and that could lead to a false negative. However, the FDA stands behind the use of these tests and says if you're having symptoms but test negative in a rapid test, seek out a PCR test to be sure. Meanwhile, the White House says a contract should be ready late next week to buy 500 million at-home COVID tests. The Department of Health and Human Services and Defense are working to expedite distribution. The first deliveries from manufacturers will start next month. There will be a free system, including a new website to get tests out to Americans. Essentia Health will be opening a new clinic in West Fargo. Here's a rendering of what it's expected to look like in the lobby. It'll be at the Lights along 32nd Avenue in Cheyenne. That new building will be unveiled next fall. There's new technology to prevent kids being left in hot cars. We'll show it to you still to come on Valley News Live at 5.
temperatures through the rest of the week are going to be well below average. We warm up just a touch heading into next week, but still below normal. And tomorrow, we even have a chance for some light snow. Stick around, your hour-by-hour temperature and wind chill forecasts. They're coming up next.